If you like my Papa Dash's content, please like and share this video. If I get a lot of likes, he'll get me some treats.
You gotta just be kind.
Just be kind. It's so simple. Love people. Be good to people.
Yeah.
You draw more flies with honey than
Yeah.
you do with it. And I was talking to a guy, Brother John, and he said, I have no friends. He said, I have no friends, and he was just in a real negative mood.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it in a nice way, but I told him what the Bible said: to have friends, you must show yourself
Right.
friendly.
Yeah.
And he's the most unfriendly little fella
Right.
that you've ever seen.
Right.
And he's wondering why he has no friends.
Right. Yeah.
But it's because he never gives that off. And and to have friends, you must show yourself friendly. And I was thinking about what you said. In the last 3 years, I've lost my grandmother, who raised me up in the things of God, and I lost my 92-year-old papa.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget the wisdom that they imparted to me. When Mama was getting ready to pass, I grabbed her little hand. It was frail at the time. And I said, Mama, I said, you can't leave me. Because she was my biggest fan,
Mm-hmm.
Brother John, my biggest supporter. I mean, she was the one that made me do right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she gave me my first drug problem. She drugged me to church when I didn't want to go.
Got you right.
And so I said, you can't leave me. She said, Barry, I've taught you what to do. I've taught you how to treat people.
Yeah.
She said, just do that. And I asked Papa, after that, I was just going through a tough time. And Papa was 92 years old. He was 5'2" at best. That's on a good day. But he was the toughest man, pound for pound, that I probably ever knew in my life. And I said, Papa, how do you make it through the tough times? Because I really felt like life was just caving in on me.
Yeah.
And he said, BD, and he grabbed me by the arm. He said, sometimes you just got to go, Rrr. And I thought about that.
Yeah.
And the next time that feeling come on me,
Right.
I was reminded of what Papa said. And I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but this will work. I just went, Rrr, and it kind of got me through.
Right,
Talking
right.
about that old school,
Right.
old time hillbilly wisdom.
Yeah.
And it just kind of helped me shake it off and keep going.
Yeah. And I think there's the key. Sometimes you got to do that. You just got, well, now let's get into some things, okay? Let's talk about some things,
Yes,
all right?
sir.
One thing I'm going to talk about that a lot of people run through out there, when we talk about, and I'm going to move backward and forwards, but when we talk about marriage,
Yes.
okay, you seem to have a good marriage.
Yes.
Okay, now the best I can tell now,
Right.
and I know she'll probably watch this, so you can say yes, but I mean,
yes.
and you should say yes, okay? But I mean, what do you think are some of the, when we talk about having a good marriage, outside, and I know this is tough too, okay, and it's hard, it's hard to get someone who's such a preacher like you out of preacher mode,
Right.
okay? But I want to pull you over just a second when we talk about a good marriage,
Right.
because there's great preachers that have bad marriages.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about, and they can be
So
married for
true.
70 years, but to have a good marriage,
Right.
what are some of the keys you think?
She's my best friend.
Okay.
She's my best friend. She can tell, Brother John, if I've got something going on in my head. And I'll have a tendency to try to keep it locked up.
Right.
And she will push me until finally she says, okay, I know something's going on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what's going on. And we've just always been best friends.
Right.
Just that's the thing. A wise lady told Carlene one time early on. She said, in marriage, you're going to fall in and out of love. She said, you will fall in and out of love. She said, the trick is to fall in love with the same person over and over again.
Uh-huh.
She
Beautiful.
spoke that into Carlene's life, and she was a seasoned
Right.
saint.
Right.
You know, because let's be honest,
Right.
there's some days you wake up and you don't feel so married. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to agree with you,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
this is about you right now.
That's right. That's right. Carlene, she tells people when we're doing marriage counseling, she said when she used to pass me on the road, she would get butterflies.
Yeah.
She said, now I think that joker better remember to take out the trash. But she talks about how love, when anytime
Right.
we do a marriage counseling, how the love deepens and it
Yeah.
changes. You know,
Right.
those first couple of years, it's all butterflies, rose petals,
Right.
lollipops.
Right.
But the thing for me and Carlene is she is my best friend. She is my confidant. I have told her things and she's told me things that we couldn't tell anybody
Right.
else.
Yes, sir.
And there have been times, you know, because we are talking about ministers too,
Mm-hmm.
there have been times, Brother John, that the ministry was not healthy for my marriage.
Right.
That the ministry was not healthy for my marriage. That what I would not take out on people,
Mm-hmm.
I would take out on her.
Yeah.
And we went through a season, Brother John, where I did that.
Right.
And I will openly admit that I did. I took out my frustrations on her, not physically,
Right.
not even
I
so
know
much
what you mean.
verbally, just I became absentee.
Right.
And it was just like I saw how bad it was hurting her.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we had some ministry changes, and I felt the Lord leading me to City on a Hill, and I finally felt like I got in the right place, the
Right.
place that God had prepared for me. And all those other places were beautiful and special, and they were a part of my journey that I had to get there.
Right.
But when we got to City on a Hill, a lot of that pressure that I would let sometimes creep into my marriage,
Yes, sir.
it's not been there.
Right.
It's not been there, and it's just been such a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Do
is.
you think sometimes when she looks at you and says, I don't know if this ever happens to you, and says, I know you're thinking about something, what's going on?
Right.
That you're not thinking about anything.
Yes.
I find myself, I say, well, really, I'm not thinking about it. I think men do this sometimes. I think we do it.
Bad.
Sometimes I'm thinking about nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, there's just like nothing going on up here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm just sort of, my wife says I live in my laxy daisy world sometimes, because I said, well, it's a nice place to live. I just wander along
Right.
sometimes. And sometimes I'm not near as deep
Right.
as, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes we're just there.
I'm so glad you said that. That makes me feel so much more
Yeah.
normal, Brother John, because there are so many times that me and Carlene have had that conversation. I guess I would just be silent on
Yeah.
a road trip. You know,
Right.
we do a lot of traveling
Right.
together, preaching, and she'll say, "What are you thinking?" And I'll have to think what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And the honest answer is I'm not thinking about nothing. Or I'm thinking, I wonder if that whitetail buck that I shot and I couldn't find, I wonder if I got it or if I didn't really get
Right.
it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm thinking something
Way
totally
out there.
way out there. You know,
Yeah.
like why was his tail still up? If I
Yeah.
really hit him, why was his tail up? You know, just something dumb that you don't
Right.
even want to explain. Or
Right.
sometimes I'm not thinking anything at all. So you have made me.
You really don't. You're
This
just
has been
you're
therapy.
just sort of there. You're thinking, man, I just, I don't know. All right.
If you like my Papa Dash's content, please like and share this video. If I get a lot of likes, he'll get me some treats.